Parents are working to let us know that you're all doing your good job. This time we'll call the meeting to order. Offer an invocation. Anyone here to offer an invocation?
Pastor Bob.
Yes, please stand.
Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as a community, to have an opportunity to hear our voices heard in government. Lord, we pray that you be with those who will make the decisions for our community, for our state, just be a part of all the decisions that are helping to guide our country right now, Lord. We just thank you for bringing everyone together tonight, Lord, and we pray that the kiddos get a great opportunity to show off all that they have learned for us. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May all be seated. Are there any changes to the agenda this evening? I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved by Commissioner Hutchinson and seconded by Commissioner Belden to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to proclamations, Constitution Week proclamation. Okay. Would you just like me to read it?
If you want.
Okay. Whereas September 17th, 2021 marks the 233rd anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through September 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, I, Charles P. Lamberts, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Concordia, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us, this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Concordia, Kansas, to be affixed this 15th day of September, the year of our Lord, 2021. At this time, I think you all are on.
All right, fourth grade is going to stand up. Face this, correct? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish a Constitution for the United States of America.
Does that conclude our? All right, so here's your chance. Again, you're more than welcome to stick around for our meeting. Or if you have other obligations, this would be a good time to make your way. Thank you. Thank you. This is probably one of the coolest Thank you, guys. Thank you, Ms. Hall. I know, it's safe. This time we'll move on to the budget hearing, the public hearing for the 2021 budget amendment.
Okay, like we discussed last time, basically, we just need to do this to, yes. I don't, that's fair.
Hmm?
Or do I speak?
Oh, the public hearing is now open.
And this is just to amend the budget for the debt service fund and the gas fund for items that happened during the year that we were expecting, but not at budget time, and just to avoid a violation.
Anyone care to make any comments regarding the budget amendment? Seeing none, hearing none. This time, the public hearing is closed. All right. Moving on to public comments. This is a time where citizens are encouraged to speak publicly. We request that you state your name and address, speak respectfully, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone that care to make a public comment? Feel free to come up to the podium and
Okay, I'll let you know. Yeah, that's fine. I'm Nina Young from Belleville, Kansas, and I'm here as an advocate and a proponent for Meg's Grooming Salon. I have visited the facility, and I'm just asking that an open mind be kept for this new concept in a downtown business. It's going to be a structured with ratios, employees, 2 dogs. It's not like she's going to have 30, 40 dogs in at once. I know there's a question about the odors or the sounds. There's buffers on each side, and I don't know if any of you have been to take a tour of the building. It's going to be spectacular, and she's going to have the air vents and the sanitizing. When I took my dog to her training classes, everything was kept cleaned up and sanitized like ASAP. Another thing is that this is an entrepreneur, a new business that will bring other business and business dollars to Concordia. and will provide property tax dollars for Concordia. And again, with all Meg's years of experience and training, 20 years in dog training and 11 years in her current business, I really do hope and pray that you keep an open mind and for this context in which she's trying to bring to Concordia. And it's a service that's being done in several other states, and it's a very valuable service. And again, with her experience and with the layout that she's got, I just wish you could go and tour it and see what she's got going. It will be a very good benefit for Concordia.
Any other public comments? Hearing none, anyone online? This time public comments are closed. We'll move on to the action agenda, the 2021 budget amendments.
I move to approve the 2021 budget amendment.
Second.
So moved by Commissioner Wentz, seconded by Commissioner Hash to approve the 2021 budget amendment. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to the minutes of September 1st, 2021 meeting. It's been moved by Commissioner Belden, second by Commissioner Wentz to approve the minutes of the September 1st, 2021 meeting. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to appropriation ordinance 17.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance number 17.
It's been moved by Commissioner Hutchinson, second by Commissioner Belden to approve appropriation ordinance number 17. Is there any further discussion?
I just had one question.
Sure.
On the soccer and 150 shirts, are those reimbursed? I mean, I know the 150 is selling. Are the soccer shirts?
Yeah, those are paid for. The registration fees for soccer cover the shirts. Am I right on that, Chris?
Yeah, I don't know how they're lumped in there, but all the soccer shirts would be their uniforms for the season.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to ordinance 2021-3181, street closure and special event for all class reunion.
Mayor and Commissioners, we had a request to close Broadway Street from 6th Street to the alley between 6th and 7th Streets on Fall Fest for afternoon, evening events. And I did not ask clarification in time for Ty, so he has an extension of a request that he, Tyganet and Doug Huberger to visit with us about kind of what they plan to do in that area. And then we do have a draft ordinance in your packet. If we need adjustments, we can adjust that. And then if Chuck, if you'll stay after for signature, if it passes, that'd be great.
Okay, as long as everybody is aware of the class reunion, all class reunion control plan, unless you guys have any questions, I don't think I really have too much to say. You Doug? We don't
plan to place.
We don't plan to do liquor. It's just going to be beer only. So that might be one question that would arise, but
I was curious, Todd, just looking at the map, why you're including the alley that's under construction.
that's a good question. We could easily take that out.
Well, I was thinking, you know, the fence along the plaza and then straight across. Otherwise, you've got that area on the street that's still dirt.
I totally agree with that. So that was just a quick thing we threw up on Google Maps. I was a little late at this process, so I was kind of scrambling to get stuff together. So we realized when we had 8 class reunions coming that we might need a little
Yeah.
bit more space, especially with it being a free event. Just wanted to make sure everybody had room to distance themselves if they wanted to, so.
We'll have 2 local police officers, my understanding. Are you gonna have anybody else kind of helping in case there are issues?
We can, at the moment, we do not, besides, we will check IDs at the time of a purchase of an alcohol drink. I think that, in other instances, from in the past, we've done it at the door, but I think this will be easier doing it at the time of an alcohol purchase, just because I feel like there's gonna be some kids down there running around and stuff, so, and I would hate to not include them. If you guys would like to request a little bit more security, we could definitely get some shirts made up and get some other security, just walking around for visuals. And past times when we've done this, we've never had a police presence, so I think a police presence is gonna be all we need, but it's never hurts to have more security. So,
Have we ever had 8 class reunions? I mean, I don't know.
Um, well, the first time we done something like this, I'd say we probably had maybe 400 people in the downtown area. At that time, though, we had a lot more area blocked off, so this is a lot more condensed area. So I think that makes it easier. But whatever you guys are comfortable with, I think Doug and I are willing to ease your concerns there.
My class is involved in this course. Basically, we want to hire a band, so, yeah, we'll be vigilant. My classmates. Basically, it's for all system, other agencies, right into it. Because that's the last thing I want to do is for what we do, is we don't try this.
Yeah.
And Commissioner, I didn't explain very good in the memo, it should be in there. For the activities happening inside the plaza, you've already authorized all of this by the management agreement with Concordia, and so they can help these guys figure out what they need to do. So what we're discussing here is primarily what happens in the street, for the street closure, that's where the ordinance is required. And then the other thing is we need to clarify the time frame that you want, because the time frames will have to be listed in the ordinance as well. So in the ordinance, we have listed from 8 to midnight, but it's my understanding that's when the band started, so that's when the all class reunion started. But I believe things have adjusted since Monday slightly.
Yeah, we were hoping to do 4 o'clock and add a cornhole tournament. Cornhole has become widely popular throughout the whole United States, and I think it would be great to be able to add something just to bring people down while the band's setting up and have a crowd there before they even start. So,
But you'll do that on Broadway.
yes, not the plaza.
No.
I think one of the benefits that I see about the Broadway Plaza is kind of its flexibility. And I think extending that closure into Broadway while keeping 6th Street open. One, I think does a couple of things. One, it creates that natural barrier to where you can have greater control of the plaza itself without exposing other area businesses. I think that having a law enforcement presence, just seeing somebody around, I think deters a lot of people who might otherwise get a little rambunctious. I think, as you said, Doug, I think the more anybody who attends this is able to self-regulate, the greater the opportunity we have to keep doing this. It has been pretty cool to see this, the all-class reunion expand. As I think others in the community are working to expand the Concordia alumni group, having this as kind of a central location. I know other classes in years past have been kind of scattered all about. So I think to try to have a central area for people to gather is a good idea. We certainly want to make sure that everybody's safe and has a good time. So balancing this out, I think. with the law enforcement presence, the addition of other potential security personnel. We can adjust it to where it excludes the alley.
Well, the alley and maybe even the sidewalk on Sixth Street because the fence goes, you know,
So you're thinking maybe just run from the fence line on the northern and southern boundary of the plaza
to the,
east to the sidewalk.
well, yeah, to the other side of the street.
So
Broadway.
so essentially, yeah, the sidewalks then on the north,
Or-
east, and the alley would all be open, and it would be the road from fence line to fence line east would be the new boundaries. Is that what? you think?
Yeah, that's, well, I know the plaza, it's easier to control and I think it's just because you did it quickly.
Honestly, yeah, that was always the plan. I just.
Yeah, I thought it was too tight, but
Yes,
it was just,
we were never gonna include the sidewalk or anything. It'd just be the sidewalk
yeah,
on
on
the
the
east
east
side.
side of it,
Yeah.
but that's,
But everything else, use the fence as the barriers.
so will you have the northwest gate shut? Or are you gonna let them,
I would say that, that would be up to, a higher power than me. I would say, whatever the fire and EMS are comfortable with. If they think that that needs to be open for safety reasons,
Yeah.
I don't think it would be a problem. I just, everybody is gonna have to know that, you step outside the fence on that side,
yeah,
But
Well, that may,
we
that may
would-
be a good place to just station one of the other folks wearing a t-shirt, maybe just have them at that northwest
Yeah.
gate.
I mean,
Probably your common entrance and exits would be a good place just to have folks make sure that nobody's carrying something outside the line or anything like that.
well, the other two gates will open into the area that's barricaded.
Sure, I'm just saying, like,
So.
if we have the fence open on the northeast corner, that might be a good place for somebody.
Yeah.
Whatever the open places are where people are most likely to make choices that they should, other than inside the space. Or would not be ill advised.
I would move to approve ordinance 2021-3181 with the map as amended and amending the time frame to be 4 PM until.
Second,
So it has been moved by Commissioner Hutchinson, second by Commissioner Belden to approve ordinance 2021-3181, amending the map as discussed to exclude the northern sidewalk, the easternmost sidewalk, east side of Sixth Street, excluding the alley, extending the hours from 4 PM to 12 AM on Saturday, September 25th to Sunday, September 26th. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks for the planning of this event too. Appreciate the work that goes into that.
Yeah.
Moving on to ordinance 2021-3182.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is the ordinance that was tabled by you a month ago on the recommendation from the planning commission for a conditional use permit for a kennel in the C4 business district. Last time you tabled it and sent the applicant, Ms. Beekman, to do some more work, and she's back now. It was rescheduled this time, and she's here to answer any questions. I think she brought more information, and I'll stand to answer any questions that you guys have. So.
Bruno, I just want some clarification. You did not know about the boarding until you asked on one of your visits. You didn't
That's
know,
my
right?
belief, yeah,
Correct. Okay. I just.
but that's.
Okay.
So probably to move forward, when we met last, there was going to be some time, I think Meg, you were asked to speak with other business owners. I know that I haven't personally, as a commissioner, received any approaches from any businesses that are opposed to this idea. I'm not sure if other commissioners have been approached in the last month with concerns that could be addressed, should be addressed. Okay.
I guess I would like to say, I appreciate the extra month. It's given me some time to do some research and probably use some time to speak with some folks. And I hope you did have a chance to speak to your neighbors. I did too. I think, you know, the issue is, and the thing that you said last time that's really like resonated in my head was that if you would have known that you had to go through the conditional use permit, would you have purchased the building? And without hesitation, you said no. You know, because you thought that this was appropriate zoning, that's when you purchased the building.
I was told it was zoned. for that,
And,
yes.
and so then that's our fault. But, you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but that's our fault. And you have some real financial, you could be in some real financial hurt. I think there's perceived issues if we allow this. The perceived issues are that there's going to be a waste management problem and a sound issue. But there are real problems if we don't allow this. And the real problems is you stand to lose a lot financially. So the time that I've had to think about it and to talk to neighbors, and I think neighbors have come along to the idea that, you know, as long as there are checks in place and that their valid concerns will be heard, that, you know, we should go ahead and give it a try. And so for that reason, tonight I'm going to be a yes, but I would ask you to make sure that those perceived issues never become an issue.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
And work really hard on it.
I hope, I don't know if you've had time to look over the packet that I submitted, but I do have, I went deep and I dug out and I have doggy toilets that I mean, to handle the solid waste. The liquid waste will go down. It's the second from last marker in your pamphlet. It's called a porch potty, but all the indoor daycares use them. They drain straight into the sewer and into our septic. So liquids will be rinsed down and contained, solids will be picked up and flushed down a specially made doggy toilet. Of course, along with sanitizing, I even brought a sample of the doggy grass. It drains on the back, so it will lay on top of the rubber. And everything can be rinsed right through it. If anybody, I can pass around if you guys want to.
It's not used. It's
It's not you.
No, it's not.
We're good.
But it's especially made for this purpose.
It's kind of amazing to me what's out.
And I know a lot of the worry and the fear right now is that they haven't seen these things. I have examples in here for you guys. There's facilities like this all over the country. There's one in Nebraska. I'm going to be the first one in Kansas. That's a big draw. That's a big deal. Just because I'm the first doesn't mean it's a bad idea. They're all over the country. They're just not here yet. I want to bring it here. And if we have the claim that we're the first in Kansas, we're the only ones in Kansas, that's going to bring even more people to town than we already are. And I don't see that as a bad thing. Are there any questions, I guess?
So you said you've been in contact with all your neighbors?
Not all of them. I did avoid the one because I don't want to start, I want to be a good neighbor. I don't want to start any trouble. I know where they stand on it. I know where I stand. And I'm going to do everything I can to not be a nuisance for them. I've been in contact with all of the other neighbors and they are all in huge support of this.
Were you able to talk to Mrs. Harrington at Downtown Girl?
Yes, and she said she is absolutely in support.
Thank you.
So I seen your Facebook post and it seems like you have quite a few people for it. There was a few people that had the same concerns. I guess my concern would be you're kind of, and it has nothing to do with really which way I vote tonight, but it almost sounded like you were blaming a city employee for not letting you know. But my initial question to Bruno tonight was, did you know right away? Which I think we're going to maybe change a few things. So we have a business plan in place before, and if that was the case, then
It
we
was
would
a
have known you're.
it was a miscommunication.
And it was.
Yes, I'm not trying to blame anybody or throw anybody under the bus,
Mhm.
but it was a miscommunication because I said grooming, boarding, and daycare, and he didn't understand that boarding means overnight care. So when he told me it was zoned okay for that,
Mhm.
there was a miscommunication. I'm not trying to get him in trouble or anything. And, I mean, I'm not trying to blame anybody for anything, but I am in a situation now where I have a very big building with very big bills, and I have sunk everything I have into thinking that I was zoned for this when I bought it. So I would like the opportunity to prove to you that I can do this without disturbing my neighbors and with benefit to the community.
I think that that's a good opportunity. I think that my stance hasn't changed a whole lot, if any at all, since we met last, in terms of, I think that there are a number of concerns. I think that one of the reservations that a lot of folks in Kansas have is because we do have such access to wide open spaces that we're not kind of a metropolitan community that would have a more traditional setting such as this, where I think that in a larger city, this is going to be something that is more common, more out of necessity. But that I do think that with the conditional use permit, I think that it would be important for you to have as much of an opportunity to succeed as we want any business to succeed in Concordia. But on the flip side of that, I would also like to see into the conditional use permit an ability to pull that back if your best ideas are realized, it should never be necessary to rescind it. If neighbors' worst fears are realized, I guess as a city, I want to be able to have the ability to take care of their needs as well. And so working towards that mutual benefit, I would still, I don't know, really quite the terming that we had last time, but I would like to amend the conditional use permit to a certain period of time with regular checks that are helping to ensure that everything's going smoothly. And if nothing else, to give you the opportunity to address issues as they come up. I think, one of the things I believe in is that if I'm not doing a good job in my position, I don't want to find out about that on my evaluation.
Right.
I want to find out along the way so that I have opportunities to improve or address whatever issues might need to be addressed. So that when it is time for my evaluation, I've either not succeeded in meeting those needs or I have. So that's my thought. I won't push that if others aren't wanting to go that direction. But we have a process for this. It went to the planning commission. The planning commission approved it and sent it to us for approval. We tabled it. We had the opportunity to gather additional information. I think that we have whatever degree we're going to. So what other questions do we have?
I have a question. Ms. Bykman, what is your time frame for when this would start?
It's gonna depend on contractors
Okay,
and plumbers. I'm hoping to have it up and open by the holiday season.
so in other words, if we were to approve this tonight, do you think you could have it open by November, December?
Hopefully, as long as my contractors all,
Okay, so you haven't ordered the stuff yet?
I have some of it on hand, not all of it.
Thank you.
Well, my thought was after our last meeting, and like Ashley, after I had some time to really think about, the dogs are there already during the day. So that's when customers next door or wherever would be complaining if they did about dogs barking, right?
And then that part of it is not That's not
Yeah.
what we're discussing. So the concerns that they have, it's almost a moot point, not to dismiss that concern, but that's not part of the discussion that's happening. And so it really is strictly the boarding, the overnight boarding that would require the conditional use.
Yeah,
We're gonna clear that up next time we do the comprehensive plan. I'll give it to you.
I would imagine so.
well, but what I'm saying is the barking part of people complaining would happen during the day, which is already permitted, right? So this, to me, the barking, anything to do with the conditional use permit because it's already there. If it's gonna be, haven't had any complaints about that, so.
I did draw it, I don't know if you guys understood, I drew up a new plan for the floor plan for that, so there are more walls, and each wall that I put in will have insulation as more of a sound barrier. I'm also not sure if they were able to see the videos that I emailed.
No, we have them queued up if you'd like them to look at.
I would, I think that might ease a little concern. I emailed some videos today to the city manager. We got- Today. I went out, it took forever to get them, Bart. We also had downstairs, out front, out back. And I also had a patron that went into the flower gallery to order flowers while those dogs were barking, and you can't hear anything from any of those places. The back window of my building was open on the third floor.
Right? If I'm correct, right, the kitchen is on the north wall,
Yeah, it's not on the north wall, it's at the north end of the building.
north end of the building.
There's a
sorry.
hallway, but other than that, yeah, the kitchen separates. I have one more that was, it's recorded in the flower gallery as he's ordering flowers. If you'd like to hear it, but you can't hear any dogs barking. All you hear is a conversation about which flowers to get his girlfriend. You can't hear dogs barking. It's not going to disturb my neighbors.
And that one did not come through on the email, so
Oh.
we did not. that one.
I will send it again if anybody wants to hear it. It's a 3-minute conversation about flowers.
Important conversation.
And again, I think it's more of like making sure the perceived, I know first impressions are everything.
Right.
So when we're walking dogs in other people's yards or other people's property, just lesson learned, probably not do that anymore, you know, make sure we pick up after them. And if it doesn't I think if we just be really good neighbors, it avoids a lot of this issue.
Right.
And so, again, make sure that those perceived things don't become the reality.
Right, absolutely. My reputation's on the line. I wouldn't want that to happen.
And Chuck, I don't necessarily know that we need a pullback. I don't know, that seems a bit of an undue burden on a business that they would have to go through additional checks and an ability to take something away after the money's been spent, you know,
No. Sure.
so.
I wouldn't want to do that for any business.
I would move to approve ordinance 2021-31.
Second.
So moved by Commissioner Wentz, seconded by Commissioner Hash to approve ordinance 2021-3182. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes 4-1.
Thank you very much.
I wish you the best of luck. Move on to the manager's report.
We have several events coming up this Friday. Several city staff members are going to be assisting with the homecoming parade. So Ron's crews are going to set out some barricades to help block off Broadway Street. We've talked with Mr. Bender's already talked with Mavericks. I spoke with State Farm, so they're aware of what's coming, and we'll only block off down to the alley and park the floats in there. Several department heads and I will go down to the Broadway Plaza and help park the floats in an orderly fashion so we can get as many folks in that area as possible to help keep traffic flow in other areas going down. Then on the 25th is Fall Fest, and I believe that the itinerary should be coming out in the next couple of days based on conversations with the chamber. And the air show is that afternoon. There's still time to RSVP for the luncheon. We do need head counts so we can get the right amount of food. So if you're interested in RSVPing, please send in your numbers to us soon. Chuck and Ashley, I've got yours already, so that's great. And then October 1st is when we're going to bury the new time capsule. We've set that time at 12:15 in the afternoon. And we debated between that and later on in the evening. We know there's a home football game that evening. We'll be able to get to the tailgate. The other thing I'm concerned about is opening up that hole, burying the capsule, and then needing to get it adequately covered before the weekend. And so if we do that at 12:15, that allows Ron and his crews to be able to adequately cover it before the weekend so that it's not a hazard. So that's what we're hoping for there. It'll be just a brief ceremony, a little talk, a little something. So if you'd like to be there, can be there to say something, let me know kind of what we want to do there. The capsule will already have items in it. It will already be welded shut. So the activity will be to actually just lowering it into the ground with the backhoe. Is what the activity will be.
September 28th is the deadline for any submissions, correct?
Yes, if there's anything that you want to put in the time capsule, you have till September 28th, and those items need to be submitted to the tourism office. That's all that I have. Does anybody have any questions?
Making his way around there more.
Sure had nothing to do with 40, 50 fourth graders. Staff reports.
I want to mention, we did a 2-week Labor Day step enforcement. I just want to kind of quickly go over some stats. During that time, we wrote 26 tickets, 34 warnings, and made 1 DUI arrest. And with our new Digiticket system, we can print out reports from the officer's activity. So it's pretty handy dandy. Good stats off of that. So, thank you.
Okay.
Any other department heads?
I'd like to thank law enforcement. Municipal court this week got a little hairy. We had an individual who continues to cause problems and always will be, but he had a bit of an outburst and called one of our officers very colorful names, at which point I piped up as well. But our officers stayed very professional about it and maintained order in the courtroom in this individual was looking for a fight. So thanks to Officer Vickers for that. So it's much appreciated when we have these officers in our courtroom. They're supposed to be there, but being there is always helpful. And so I just wanted to say thank you on the record for that.
See what makes it fair.
I stood up for Officer Vickers too.
I think we heard it.
You might have, yeah.
Anyone else? All right. Marcia.
I just like to thank the fourth graders again for the presentation. It's always fun to hear them. And you did a good job when I'm still here. And I was kind of surprised that three of you had fourth graders.
Yeah,
I think that makes three of us.
yeah.
That's all.
Four, five.
Four, yeah.
Toby?
Have anything?
I don't have anything either. It's really cool to see it. It's probably one of the greatest things. I know when I was first had the opportunity to be on the commission a few years ago, I really didn't even picture my oldest, Nora, being in the fourth grade, being here. Humbling to see her here. So it's a pretty cool thing. Pretty cool. All right, at this time, I would entertain a motion for adjournment to a study session, correct? Is that not tonight?
Move to adjourn.
Moved by Commissioner Hutchinson, second by Commissioner Hash to adjourn. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Chuck, I